everybody. This is Thursday, April 17th, 4 p.m. Eastern. And as we told you yesterday, we are doing these community calls on Facebook Live starting this year. We used to do it on our platform last year, and we just wanted to make it easier for people to join and listen. So, housekeeping, you can ask us about anything business, marketing, accounting, payroll related. You can email us your questions at borbala@conciergecpas.com, or you can leave your question in the comments below. We already have about 28 questions that were sent, actually more, but I just got 28 out that I thought a lot of people can benefit from. So we're waiting for a couple of people to join. This is a totally open book. You can ask me anything. My name is Borbala. I'm running Concierge CPAs for about 8 years now with my brother Laz, who is controlling the equipment. And we also have 3 people working for us. We are headquartered in Brecksville, Ohio, but we do have clients in 17 different states across the U.S. and a good number in Europe and South America and in Asia. We are a non-conventional CPA firm where saving on your taxes and helping you to understand your numbers are the 2 focus points where we really want to help you with. So it is Thursday afternoon. It is snowing here in Brecksville, Ohio. Wanted to point that out that we do have some swag that we want to give away. So if anybody wants any of these 2019 calendars with our pens that I hear that are very popular for amongst people who got them, because they're such a great blue color. If you want any of this to be picked up or sent to you, just send me your information, and we are going to do that until we run out. These pens actually, they have light and they have a touch screen, so they just work, for all kinds of things. So we really love them and people love them. So also, if you by any chance want to sign up to our newsletter, printed newsletter that we send out every month, then again, just send us your info. We would be happy to add you to the list. And this is something that actually we write personally, every article, and it's not a typical accounting newsletter. Nobody wants to get like just a typical law firm or accounting firm, CPA firm newsletter. This is something that we write about topics that actually interests us, interests our clients, something that we really want to get across, something that we preach to our clients every day. So actually this is a December issue, so we feature a client of the month in each of them, and some tax-related stuff, very easily digestible. If we are known for anything, it is not making this hard for our clients. We are not here to give you like 100-page books to learn. That's why we are here to take care of you. But we want you to know about stuff. So if you're at a party and somebody says, so what do you think about S-Corps? Then you would know, like, oh yeah, my CPA talked to me about it, and I know why I opted for it or not. And not just like, I don't know what's going on. There are some, things that I can save, I can utilize, I can implement that my accountant never talked to me about. So, actually, I wanted to bring this up. This is very interesting. One of the marketing gurus that I follow wrote this morning about business stuff that is not just marketing, and he says, unfortunately, there is more that goes into running a business than just marketing and sales. Top on my hate to-do list is the admin BS, particularly bookkeeping. But as much as I hate it, it's just something I have to do. So the man in dark suits and sunglasses don't come and haul me away. Though, since government employees aren't getting paid right now, maybe there is nothing to worry about. Anywho, assuming you don't want to chance it till the season, this is the season where admin BS and bookkeeping kicks into high gear. So I assume that a lot of our networking, people in our network feel the same way. Now, I wanted to say a lot of our clients, but I'm really hoping that none of our clients feel the same way. Because one of the things that we preach is you have to do consistently, you have to do bookkeeping. Either you have to find a way of somebody else dealing with it and you're just kind of supervising it, or you do it and you know how to do it, so it's not really that 3 days in January when you just hate your life and you have to get all the statements, everything together.
Live stream went down. Melissa Clifford and Dana said hi. Live stream back on.
So it seems like we have some issues with the live stream, so sorry about that. So we were at bookkeeping and the best practices. One of the things that we say to our clients is, these are the best practices about anything business and financials in the business. We just wanted to let you know this is what works for most people. There is no agency that says you have to do QuickBooks Live, right? QuickBooks Online. There is no agency that says that you have to, do a certain way. But there are some best practices, some rules that you follow that you're not gonna be sorry, weekends in January. So that being said, actually this is a funny thing. I do have a client who's a personal friend who is a very seasoned financial advisor, somebody that I really trust highly, and he's seen a lot. Obviously, he's been in the business for 40 years. So he sends me an email a couple of weeks ago with this huge link, huge Google link, and says, withdraw 25% of defined benefit tax-free. Is this accurate? So I click on the link, and this is what comes up. yourmoney.com. So obviously, it's a magazine that we read here in the U.S., and it says 3 benefits of staggering your 25% tax-free pension lump sum. So I started reading this article. It seems to be a very recent article, and everything that I read about this, it says people aged 55 plus can withdraw 25% tax-free lump sum from their pensions. I'm thinking, how come I don't know about this? This is just something that I've never heard of. This is bad. Am I really that bad in what I do that there's something that can be written in a magazine and I don't know about it? And so I read about 3-4 pages of it when I realize that all the examples that the article gives are not in US dollars, but in pounds. So that's when I started laughing and crying at the same time, saying, oh my goodness, this is a UK version of Your Money magazine. So why I brought this up is just how my doctor friends say that WebMD is not an alternative to a doctor, and you can research your ailments, and you should, but it's not something that can just make it go away, or just you don't have to go to the doctor anymore. That's the same thing with CPAs and advisors. So hopefully your CPAs is somebody that you see more than just once a year when you drop off your stuff for tax prep, and then when you pick it up and just have to sign it in front of a secretary. So hopefully you have an advisory relationship. That's what we preach here at Concierge CPAs. So this just actually, I told my friend, thank you so much for giving me this example, because you've been researching stuff, you're like retirement age, but you know what? What you're reading is the UK law. So I did answer him, and I said, yes, this is accurate. If you live in Great Britain, it is accurate. So when you hear stuff from your friends at the bar, and most of the time when I say bar, I mean the bar association, because we work with a lot of lawyers. So if there's any bar functions, if there's any parties with where there are your friends and business people, when you hear something, just have that relationship with a CPA that also your advisor, so you can double check, because you never know what you hear. So that was the first thing. This is tax season. Everybody starts getting their 1099s and their W-2s. So we have a lot of questions regarding W-2s and 1099s. And the first one is, it says, "Hi Borbala, I just received a 1099 miscellaneous from the county. The clinic I work for have performed some work for them, and I also did individually. The 1099 miscellaneous says that I've been compensated in 2018 in the amount of, but here's the thing, they've never actually paid me as an individual. What should I do? Is this a big enough deal to even worry about it?" So this time in January, just double check all the 1099s and W-2s that you get. There might be an issue where your 1099s actually they should be addressed to your business and not they should not list your social, or maybe they're entirely wrong. So before you give it to your tax prep person, please double check them. And in this case, my advice was like, yes, you go back and say, this 1099 should have been issued to the business I work for, and not to me personally. So please amend it and send me a new one. And especially like earlier, the better. So the earlier they you let them know, they're like the easier they can change it. The deadline for getting all your 1099s and W-2s is January 31st. So make sure that you just double check, where should I get 1099s from? Ask them about it. But technically, by law, they should issue them by January 31st. And there's a hefty penalty if they don't. Yeah. Also, a lot of people ask me, and this is as a side note, I did not receive 1099s from so many companies. What should I do? So the answer to that is their obligation to send a 1099 to the IRS and of course to you. If you don't get them, it's fine. You're still obligated to put that income on your Schedule C or whatever business tax return. So the notion of, oh, I didn't get a 1099, so I don't have to pay tax on it, is totally false. There is just, that's not true. So you are responsible for recording all the income. I hear people saying, oh, this was under 600, I don't have to pay tax on it. That's also not true. They are not obligated to give you a 1099 if it's under 600, but you are still obligated to put it on your Schedule C and pay tax on it. So you really have to have a good bookkeeping. People should not rely on companies giving them 1099s because, again, they could be wrong, they could not issue it. That's not on you. You are not responsible. You are responsible for putting all that income, counting for it and put it on the line 1 on your Schedule C. And of course, then putting all your expenses on Schedule C as well. Second question. Hi, Borbala. The Mercy chocolates were greatly appreciated. Oh, great. We are sending out lots of things to our clients and our friends, and Mercy chocolates, Thanksgiving time, were one of those things. I'm back at work. What's the best way for me to file W-4? Right now, it is set as married, no dependents. Is this good? Appreciate your help. W-4s are very confusing. We do run payroll for just a small number of our clients, and so when they employ somebody, the W-4s are always the question, especially since the law changed last year. They're very confusing. I wish they would just put a percentage or something really easy on them. A client of ours just hired this young guy, single, doesn't have any dependents. I told him to look at the instructions to fill out his W-4, and he came back with single, 5 dependents. There's no way you have 5 dependents. Let's look at this. So, and the young guy was really intelligent. So the instructions are really not that good, but I always tell people you have to look at taxes as a big picture. You cannot just do, oh, I'm married, for example, I have 4 kids, so I'm just going to put married, 6 dependents on my W-4, right? So in a perfect world, if I would be the only income earner and I do have a spouse and 4 kids, then the amount of tax withholding from the tables that my employer does withhold based on married 6 should be correct. But nobody is in kind of that like perfect situation where husband doesn't work, no other itemized deductions, just 6 people on the tax return, and that's it. So literally this W-4 really doesn't mean anything. You should really consult your tax preparer, your tax advisor about how much to take out. A lot of our clients, they put married but withhold as a higher single rate and zero dependents. And even that highest withholding based on the tables is not enough for them. So most of them do have a dollar amount also designated, and there's a line for that on the W-4. So literally, if you have a two income earner household, you should not do anything like married 2, married 5. You should just say single, withhold as a higher, married, withhold as a higher single rate, or just talk to your tax advisor what is really the best rate. The worst thing that can happen is that you find out at tax time that, oh my goodness, they took all this money out of my paychecks, so my W-2 shows the withholding, and it's not nearly enough. And a good number of our clients that join us during the year, when we run projections for them, they find this. I just ran projections for these two ladies who have business together, and it turned out that both spouses have less than half withheld what they are supposed to, because the wives earn a good amount. So literally the W-4 is just a stepping stone. Just put in as little dependence as you can, and go back and see after a paycheck, how much does that really result in? Is it like 10% of my gross wages that is taken out? Is it 5%? What dollar figure does this result in? And then how much do I need? What's my effective tax rate? So it literally, even just a very simple question, it sounds like just fill out W-4, what's your name, social. It could turn into this whole big question of, do I have tax projection done? Do I know how much I'm projecting my 2019 income to be together as a family? Because your employer will not know what your spouse earns. They only see your own W-2. So that's why if you only go to your tax prep person once a year, it's too late. You're going to have surprises. So do yourself a favor and just figure out how much dollars or like percentage you really need, and act accordingly. Dear Barbara, I'm writing because, as you might have read on Facebook, I'm going to start a new teaching job. They send me a bunch of forms to fill out before I start, and I have a couple of questions. On the Ohio and federal withholding certificates, it asks how many exemptions I want to claim. If I remember correctly from the last time I did this, I should only claim one exemption for myself to avoid having too little withheld from my paycheck. Is that right? So that's exactly ties to the last answer, that one exemption or even zero would be best. Also, I am not teaching at this other school this semester, although I do not exclude teaching there again in the future. Is there something I should do with the Ohio teacher retirement system? Or can I just leave the account dormant and resume my contributions if and when I work there again? The answer for this question is absolutely. Like, schools usually, and especially universities, have their own retirement system. They do not contribute to the Social Security system. So they have what's called the OPERS here in Ohio. If you take the OPERS contribution out, just like it would be a retirement account, before you are 59 and a half, and if you take it out, you have to pay penalties and tax on it. Because when you contributed, it was pre-tax. So if you really don't need that money, and you should not, then just leave it there. You can at some point actually roll it over to a rollover 401k. So if you do not want the state to administer and manage it, you can actually you can roll it forward. But it should be done after you're not working with them anymore. Some health insurance questions. Hi, Barbara. We met with our health insurance broker today, and he said the plan we were on in 2018 does not allow for an HSA because we had copays. So it looks like we won't be opening an HSA account until the next year because we changed to a new plan. That's actually a good point. You should always double check with your insurance providers if this is a private insurance, right, or a small business plan. Is this plan that I will have HSA eligible or not? And if it is, then you should really do yourself a favor and open an HSA or health savings account and put the money in, even when you know you're going to have medical expenses, and then you can just take it out. But this allows you to claim it on the tax return. So at the end of the year, you're going to get a form from the bank, and it's gonna say you contributed this much, so that makes it pre-tax, and then you took it out for medical expenses. So, but you really have to know if it's eligible or not. She said, we'll have about $8,000 in medical expenses for 2018, not including the premiums. Some of that is still deductible, right? Is there anything we need to do to maximize the deduction? So there are two ways that out-of-pocket medical expenses can be deductible on the tax return. One, if it's a high amount and it's more than 10% of your adjusted gross income, then you can claim it as an itemized deduction. A lot of people, most people do not qualify here because the floor is so high. For example, if your income between two spouses is $100,000, the floor, the 10% is $10,000. So only whatever is above $10,000 would be itemized deduction on your Schedule A. A lot of people don't get there. Unfortunately, when there is like a cancer a treatment situation or in vitro, that's the only time when, or nursing home situation, when people get above that floor. Then the second part is, if you do have a business that has a medical expense reimbursement plan, a MERP, then I don't want to get into how, but basically all your family's medical, out-of-pocket medical expenses become a tax-deductible expense. So if you are in that situation that you find yourself that you have a lot of out-of-pocket medical expense that no insurance pays for, and that would be basically doctor's fees, lab fees, prescription medicine, or anything that a doctor describes, including glasses and contacts or dental bills, those can be included in this medical expense reimbursement plan. So, for example, I had clients who went to their primary physician and asked for Advil prescription. So something that they would have purchased off the shelf, over the counter, now they have prescription for. So I heard people even doing this with vitamins. So then they can use their HSAs, or if they have this MERP. A lot of businesses could have MERP, especially if the spouse is working in your business, then it is a great tax savings tool. Yeah, so ask your CPA or ask us about the MERP, medical expense reimbursement plan. And she says, also a quick thank you so very much for the beautiful soaps, lotions, and bath goodies you send for Thanksgiving. It smells wonderful, and I went online to her site, and so nice to see this local business. You're so thoughtful. Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's really nice. Yeah, we did work with one of our clients who does all these bath salts and soaps, and her name is Melissa, and she's from Elements Lab. You can check her out. She's a great person. Social Security and payroll for kids. So this particular person has her 2 kids on the payroll, and because they're minors, he asked, isn't this supposed to be Social Security and Medicare exempt, and another like link, right? So there's a link, something that he read, that if you have a small business and you pay your kids, it's supposed to be exempt from Social Security and Medicare. Now, if this business is not incorporated, like a farmer, or you just have like a business on the side, a self-employed business that doesn't, it's not an LLC, or it's not, especially it's not a corporation, that is correct. Your kids who are under 18, you can pay them, and you don't even have to issue them, I think, you don't have to issue them a W-2, but you can deduct those wages. So, and they are not, maybe you'd have to issue a W-2, but the wages you pay them are not subject to Social Security and Medicare. Now, on the other side, most people we work with, their business is incorporated. So, unfortunately, this guy has a law firm, so totally incorporated. Anybody who works for the corporation will need to pay Social Security and Medicare. So again, just let's see, let's double check what type of information we are getting. Okay, one of our favorite clients from Florida says, hi, Barbara, how are you? Is there any deduction we can use on fixing our house? I mean, we have many things happening at the same time, but right now we have the deck being remodeled and costing around 34,000 USD. Would appreciate your recommendation. And thank you so much for the gift. You know we love Ferrero Rocher. So yeah, you're welcome. So unfortunately, house remodels by themselves, if this is like not an office and no part of it is used for an office, any house remodel or a deck being remodeled is a personal expense and it has to be after tax. But also, always have to look at the situation. If by any chance this house is an office for a business or a good part of it is used, then we have to make a determination of what is the percentage that maybe is allowable to be deductible. Now, if this is a deck, then other than throwing parties on it for the business, I'm not sure which part could be deductible. But I think we should make a determination a case-by-case basis. And also, the same gentleman asked, how about money we receive from the insurance for the damages of the hurricane and or for the plumbing that is old and leaking? So the plumbing that is old and leaking, again, if it's personal, no. Are we down again? So the question again was, what about the reimbursement money that he receives from the insurance for damages of the hurricane? And what about old or leaking plumbing? So the damages of the hurricane, again, the good thing, you didn't pay tax, it was not tax deductible when you paid for it, so then the reimbursement is also not taxable. So any insurance money that is just for the damages and it's not punitive is not taxable. And unfortunately, the old leaking plumbing is also not, doesn't have to do anything with taxes. It's not deductible. Okay, this is an interesting one that comes up a lot. Borbala, I hope all is well. My mortgage lender called me and wanted to know if he could talk to you about a profit loss statement for me for the banks. They messed everything up and wanted to see if you could give him a price on how much it would cost to do an audited profit loss statement. So this just, when I read something like this and I understand like, yeah, I'm talking to a startup business owner who has no idea what we're talking about. So, and I really like this guy. So, yes, mortgage lenders are notorious about not knowing anything. I don't know how can that be, but every year about a dozen of our clients go through refinancing or new mortgages or business loans. So we have to work with a lot of lenders and bankers, and I love them dearly. But unfortunately, and the underwriters, maybe, they are just really bad. So if this is a small company, and basically, actually, maybe he does not even have an LLC, a sole proprietor, self-employed person. So the bank just ask, do you have any financials? Now, usually somebody like this does not have a monthly financial. They should, but especially if they started out, they might not have. If they just work for somebody and they get a big 1099 at your end. So first thing, how do you even have profit and loss? You do have, it's not something that I can give you. I have to do your monthly accounting, like year-to-date accounting, in order to give anybody, even you or any lenders, financial statements, which would be the income statement, also known as P&L or profit and loss, and the balance sheet. So that's one. And then the second one is how, if we could price an audited profit and loss. Now, an audit starts about $10,000. Small companies usually who do not have angel investors or other investors, they never have audited financials, small companies, because again, it's just so expensive. And for an auditor to look at anything, you really need to have the bookkeeping and reconciliations and bank statements and credit card statements, which you should have anyways. So when the bank says something like that, I just shake my head. You know, you're never going to have audited financials, especially not in a week. We did have a startup company calling us 2 days ago and asking us to help them with an audited financial, and they were just so small. And I told them that, do you really have $10,000? Like, no, we don't, but our investors want it. So there could be a situation like that, but otherwise, talk to your banker so they would not expect something that it's really hard for you to provide. Hi, Borbala. What was the category I used for things I purchased with my Capital One business card that are more personal expenses? Was it owner's pay and personal expenses? Thanks. So this guy's starting his business. He did get QuickBooks Online, and we gave him a couple of boot camp sessions. We do these private QBO boot camps sometimes. So he's trying to do his own bookkeeping, which at this point is great, especially if he has somebody to look over them. And yes, so if you by any chance, let's say you want to pay for something personal and by accident you whip out your business credit card and you use it, then when this transaction downloads into the QuickBooks, because it's connected, all the bank accounts, credit cards are connected, then what do you say? What was this? So basically an owner's pay, owner's draw should be the exact correct category, and personal expenses, it's good. Yeah. Borbala, good to see you yesterday. If you wanted to pay for our gym membership, is this something we can charge on the business credit card as a legitimate expense, specifically that it won't raise a red flag with our taxes? And is it considered a taxable benefit or no, since it is charged? So gym memberships and dues, actually this is a new thing under the new law. As of last year, no country club memberships, other club memberships, or gym memberships can be deducted. Now, it could be, so a lot of businesses have like an on-site facility, so it could be some variations of the situation when it is a benefit. For example, Progressive, I think Progressive has this on-site, and I think they have to pay $15 each time, and that is deducted from their pay after taxes. So it could be something that is a taxable benefit to the company. I did meet this company's financial advisory company down in Cincinnati that had this beautiful full service facility at their premises. I think if you do have, and there are some laws that if you do have that, then you can deduct part of the expenses from the business's expenses. I heard some very wealthy entrepreneurs that put in a pool next to their house that was also their office. So it could be some variation, but otherwise, club memberships or gym memberships per se, if you don't have a plan, it's not deductible. Hi, Borbala and Laz. I hope all is well. I have a quick question. There are no quick questions. Can I make a contributions from the firm to a candidate for Congress, or do I need to just do that from my personal account? I'm thinking of donating up to $300 for a local candidate for Congress. So obviously this was like a fall question. I'm attending a fundraiser tonight, so just want to make sure that I have the correct checking account for it. So no political contributions are deductible. So even if you make it from the business account, it's not going to be deductible. So just do yourself a favor and just use the personal account, because it's not deductible. Good morning. I have been saving receipts for my business, and then someone told me that networking lunches, dinners, etc. no longer count. Can you advise so that I find a new way to engage in my business? Offering lunch or coffee or light dinner has been my go-to for the one-on-ones. So this particular person sells some retail, like vitamin types stuff, and she's really successful at it. And she heard that there's some change regarding this. I just had somebody ask me here in the office, somebody this question of so I heard that business meals are not deductible anymore. We did have an article in our newsletter, monthly newsletter about this. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I can send it to you. So the short version is that business meals, travel meals are still deductible, are still 50% deductible just like before. That's like the short answer. Entertainment expenses and any meals that are before or after entertainment are not deductible. It's if you pay for them separate, together. But so no theater tickets, show tickets, sports event-related tickets, they are not deductible. But the business luncheons, the ones that this particular lady, client of mine, is doing, when you go out and you have a business-related meal with a current client, prospective client, business associate, networking partner, vendor, which is somebody told me like who is not in that category for somebody who's in business, those are deductible. Now, do yourself a favor and follow the rules of turning over the receipt, put down the name of the people that you met with and the reason. Obviously, the amount and the date are on the face of the receipt. And just, and if you have like a receipt bank or receipt storing app, take a picture of it so it's in your files. So then if 3 years from now the IRS asks you like, who did you have all these business meals with and what was the reason, then you can answer them. So again, just little things that you can do during the year. Oh, this is a bank-related question. And actually, Laz and I, we were at the bank, our local bank this morning. And we're going to write, I think we're going to write an article about this. So this particular lady says that, Burbala, we plan to change over to Huntington Bank. Do you have any suggestions or suggested sequencing to help make the transition as smooth as possible? We would like to understand your thoughts in advance of our meeting. So, with the bank. So, especially when it's a serious business, changing banks, it can be hectic. So it really has to be thought through. So opening a new bank account, then starting to deposit money there and starting to then to set up that account up for all kinds of things, while still having the old bank bank account is really something that should be done. So the sequencing is important, so you never run out of money. Everybody has all these automatic payments tied to our credit cards, to our accounts. So it's really it's a very painful process. It could be. So actually, the story this morning was that Laz and I, we went to our local bank, and we love this bank. We have most of our business accounts, 3-4 business accounts, personal accounts, bunch of credit cards, like half dozen between my whole family, half dozen business credit cards with them. And I opened a bank account on New Year's Eve with them, and we needed a new bank account for a new little Chamber of Commerce organization, membership organization that we just started with a couple of people. It's called Hungarian American Chamber of Commerce of Ohio. So this is a new organization. We are really excited about it, and we're already masterminding about what should we offer to the membership, how we can reach them. So it's going to be something really exciting. Everything we touch usually is we try to be high end. So we are not just thinking about hey, let's get together for coffee once a year, but some really exciting things. for the memberships, and you don't have to be Hungarian to be a member. So if you're interested, just shoot us an email. You can absolutely be a member of it. But we are thinking about some really interesting events that benefit the economic development of the businesses that are members. So it might be that the founding members are Hungarian American, but you don't have to be. So Les and I go to the bank. We are there 8:45. Bank opens at 9 o'clock, so we are there sharp. We go in, and the assistant manager greets us, and we sit down. We can kind of see he's not in the best mood. We tell them we had an appointment, give him all the papers, so we have everything ready. EIN number, bylaws, registration with the state, everything ready for him. We pull out our passport, driver's license, everything he needs. And he looks at the papers and he says, this name is too long. I don't think I can help you. This is not possible. And we just look at each other. It's like, oh, what's going on? Really, the name is too long and you cannot open a bank account? So immediately we are not a complaining people. We are not really. We are really easygoing. We are from Eastern Europe. We are used to worse. So my takeaway was, this is how I do not want to handle my clients. I want my clients to have a front row experience when they come in. That's why we have the chocolates. That's why we have the wine, and with all this swag. And just, we want them to feel welcome, not judged. We want to feel, I want them to feel that we are friends and we are there to help them any way, shape, and form we can. So giving them one-word answers, or just sitting there as a block of ice, or just giving them, no, this is not possible, I cannot do this, versus let me see how I can help you, is not something I want to do for my clients. So it turned out okay. After an hour, we got the account, everything was fine, but we just realized this is why people go to a place, smaller places, or where they can get this personal customer service that they cannot get at a big place. So we do have the Hungarian American Chamber of Commerce of Ohio opened, and we are ready for business. So again, if you are interested, then check back and see our websites when we're going to have one. So I think I'm going to do one more question, and then we're going to leave the rest of the questions for next time. And also, we got some feedback that people would like to see our office. So I don't know, Les has to tell me if this is possible, and I can go around. But this is our boardroom that we are in. And the picture in the background is, the most famous panoramic view in the capital of Hungary, Budapest. So we just found it on a website and we ordered them. But otherwise, this part of our office is new. It's about 7 or 8 months old, and we use it when we have more clients coming in, and just when we want to get out of our offices. So. Are we on? Yeah. Okay. So 2 more questions quickly that I wanted to touch are both around 401ks and retirement contributions from W-2s. So one says, this young girl I really love, she says, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to reach out to you to see if you have any guidance related on how I'm contributing to my 403B at work. So some companies, especially if they are nonprofit or in the government world do not have 401ks, they have something else, but it's kind of the same thing. So she says, my company offers a traditional pre-tax or post-tax Roth contribution options, and I'm not sure which makes the most sense for me. I defaulted into the pre-tax option when I started last year. I'm planning to increase my contribution soon, and now that they're matching it, I want to be sure that I'm investing in the most appropriate way. So actually, companies started offering the post-tax.
Nem túl hosszú. Valami jó lenne, hogy
So the question was, if you're still online, is how should this particular person contribute to her 401k, or in this case 403b? Is it should be pre-tax or post-tax, and what is the difference, and which one sounds better? So if somebody's just starting out and they don't care about saving on taxes on this particular contribution, if their tax rates are low because they don't have a spouse that also earns a lot, then I would do post-tax for sure. So that just means everything that you contribute to the retirement account is already taxed. So all the growth, especially if you're 22, so the 40-year growth, 50-year growth, that's going to happen when you finally take it out. When you retire, it's not going to be taxable. So it's like a Roth. This is the Roth version of a 401k. A lot of companies started to offer it, and a lot of my clients are taking advantage of it. So it is basically doesn't help you right now. You still get the matching from the company, from your employer. But again, you are going to have all this pot of money when you retire, and especially at that time, tax rate is just going up. So we don't know what's going to be in 40, 50 years. So especially if you're young and you can afford just to pay tax on all your W-2 and not just the part that is not contributed to the retirement account, then you do yourself a favor and do the post-tax option, which is the Roth option. But again, if you say that I'm making $100,000, I'm going to contribute 18 to my 401k, so that I can pay the taxes on the 82, and I really don't want to pay the taxes on the 18, just at least do the contribution and do the pre-tax one, because at least you contributed. And I think we do have some more questions, but there are about some other areas of taxes and business, so I'm going to leave them for next week. We had some suggestions that we should start 5 or 6 o'clock so more people can join after work. So if that's something that would help you, then leave us a comment or send us an email and just tell us that 6 o'clock or whatever time would be better. Otherwise, can we show the boardroom? Show around? We can try.
everything's plugged in.
If you just turn it around like this. Yeah, so that's just the boardroom. Right. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure. Hopefully more people can join as more people hear about it. Again, last year it was really popular on the webinar platform, but now we're starting new and fresh on Facebook Live. So if you have any questions, let's keep sending us your questions, and especially if you have numbers, marketing, business-related questions as well, efficiency, expenses, anything that you can think of. Again, we are here. We do this. Literally, we do this kind of work all day long. When just answer people's questions, and especially when it's like a case study, they come in and they tell us like the whole business plan, what's going on, where are the leaks, where are the inefficiencies, where can we save them on taxes. Tax planning is a big thing. A lot of our time goes into that. So just everything that pertains business and financials. A lot of times we say that we are doing financial therapy. And that's why we have, like, I have a couch in my office with Kleenex next to it. There's a lot of crying on it. But also there are a lot of breakthroughs. And it's a privilege helping a lot of business owners and professionals with the financials. It's very confidential. So yes, I read these questions, but otherwise when we do the consultations, everything is very confidential, obviously not judgmental. So we're just there to help. So have a good night. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Ezt nem tudom, hogy
Kikapcsoltad?
Ja.
Szóval amikor kikapcsolod, szóljál.
Azért néztem, mert én kikapcsoltam, de ami még ment a fülembe, az 20 másodperccel vissza van, szóval nem tudom, hogy akkor az még végigment. Vagy levágta.
Ó, hogy mikor kikapcsolod?
Igen.